This is
the Bottom Bins Podcast.
Oh, yes! Hello, and welcome back to the Bottom Bins Podcast and to our Premier League coverage. So the first game, or featured game, if you will, that we're talking about this week is Man City against Liverpool. Finished 1-1 at the Etihad, and I'm going to go out on a limb, lads, and say it's a really positive result for Liverpool and another season in which we see Man City pre-Christmas kind of drop silly points in games when really they're the dominant side. Or in goals from Haaland and from Trent Alexander-Arnold. What did you make of the game just as a whole? Do you think it was a good result for Liverpool? Did you think it was a fair result for Liverpool?
Yeah, I thought it was a good result for Liverpool. Whether it was a fair result or not, a different question. I thought it was very harsh for Ruben Dias's goal to be ruled out. I didn't think it was a foul on Alisson. Liverpool had their chances as well. I thought Darwin Núñez had an absolutely awful game, to be honest. I know people were praising his performance, but I thought his decision making in the final third was really, really bad. But a good goal from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I think it was. I'm not sure if it was me and Connor who were talking about it, but it was me and somebody anyway. And he was saying, Trent kind of switched off from his right back position and just started floating about, and then he got the goal. And that is exactly what happened. But look, as you said, good result for Liverpool. City dropping unnecessary points, but then again, it's Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Who people are tipping to be title contenders. Neither team is really having as good a season in the league as people were expecting. I don't necessarily see Liverpool as title contenders this season. But that result begs to differ because it is against the treble winners. So yeah, good result, good point for Liverpool. City, I think it's 2 points drop, but at least they didn't lose.
Yeah, that's true, lad. That's true. I'd say both sides will probably look at it like, look, we took something from the game, and I think for Liverpool going away to the Etihad, it's definitely a better result for them than it is for Man City, who I'm sure a lot of people, even though it was Liverpool, still probably had City to beat them at home. I would assume, I'd say City probably were the favourites in the game. Connor, Owen just mentioned it there. The little bit of controversial VAR. I feel like we can't get through a single episode without talking about VAR, but the foul on Alisson, or supposed foul on Alisson, I'm gonna agree with Oren. And look, I know it's rich coming from United fans here, but I didn't feel like it was a foul either. I think it was very, very soft, and to me personally, it feels like we're now taking the physicality out of the game. And I know goalkeepers get the rub of the green in those situations. However, I felt like the contact was so minimal. I think Alisson's absolutely got away with one there in what was undoubtedly probably the worst performance I've seen Alisson have in a Liverpool shirt. I thought he was horrible, to be honest. Completely uncharacteristic of him. Shanking balls away, distribution was poor, shot stopping wasn't the most comfortable either, and I think that decision completely let him away with one where he just simply missed the ball. Completely missed the ball, and because Akanji was sort of stood on him, it was deemed to be a foul. What was your take of that particular incident?
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't think it was a foul. It was very soft. The VAR decided not to change the decision because the referee had given it. I think if the referee hadn't have given the foul, it would have counted. And obviously, it was a big moment in the game because if it goes 2-0, the game's over. I thought, as you said, I thought Alisson was poor. Even for the goal, his positioning, it wasn't even that great of a finish by Haaland. He did make a good save from Foden, but he was very shaky. He gave away a bad ball to Foden, who nearly scored. Still think he's the best keeper in the world. He just had an off day. I thought Ederson, in comparison, was very good. His distribution was unbelievable. But as Owen was saying, I think Liverpool have to be happy with that result. I think City going into the game 23 wins this season at home, 0 draws, 0 losses. So that's their first drop points, which is mental. We're in November, but even. I think with Liverpool, I wasn't actually that impressed with Liverpool. I do think they are title contenders because they do have some really good forwards. I thought Núñez did have an off day, but with Trent as well, like as I think me and Oren were talking about, that Trent switched off. They were in 30 seconds before to make it 2-0. He gets away with it. He just strolls up the pitch and finishes, and it's just a complete change in the game. And I thought Trent in general was not good. You know, he's a great just distributor of the ball and he can score a goal, but Doku was having a field day on him. And I thought Doku got man of the match by the Man City fans, and I thought he was the best player in the park. So it was just such a strange game. I thought both sides were disappointing. We spoke about this too, Connor. Like, these games get bigged up. Man City, Liverpool, biggest game of the season, and they always fall flat. For some reason, they always just fall flat, and it's a very boring game. And I didn't think it helped. It was at 12:30, straight after international break as well. But Liverpool will be happy with the draw because like so many players played poorly, and still to get away with a draw at Man City, the best side in Europe, it is, you just can't argue it. It's a great result for Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I do agree with what you said there, Connor. Look, there were obviously some notable performers on the pitch. Connor, you've just highlighted Jeremy Doku there. 12 completed dribbles in the game, 7 of them against Trent Alexander-Arnold. Most dribbles completed in a Premier League game so far this season, and really his start to life at Manchester City is nothing short of fantastic, to be honest. He's really hit the ground running, and already becoming a fixture in the Manchester City side, keeping Jack Grealish out at the minute. I know Grealish was unavailable due to illness, but you know, I think even when Grealish is fully fit, he doesn't really get a look in at the minute, to be honest. But Oren, just on that situation there, you know, Trent picked as the pundits man of the match, Doku on the fantasy app at least, and over Man City's PA announcement announced as the man of the match. I think Football Twitter had Doku down as man of the match as well. So a really strange situation to see a guy who gets roasted 7 times in a game and only scores a goal being his only contribution, positive contribution to the game, might I add, because he created 0 chances. And look, this is not me hating on Trent Alexander-Arnold at all. I do think he's a great footballer. I don't think he's a great right back, however. What do you make of a situation like that? It is quite strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but modern day football isn't based off performances anymore. It's based off stats, unfortunately. And I would say Trent only, well, not I would say, he only got that man of the match because he got Liverpool a point. He got the equalising goal. Doku was by far the superior player in that match. He's been absolutely fantastic since coming into the City squad, and you know, nobody really thought he was gonna light up the Premier League like he did so quick. You know, City don't really get a transfer wrong, if we're being honest, and that's not just buying players, that's selling players as well. Like, I would be very surprised if at the start of last season you would think about Manchester City selling Riyad Mahrez and signing Jeremy Doku. Do you know what I mean? So they don't really get a transfer wrong. I thought he was the man of the match. I thought Trent was very lucky to even still be on the pitch. And I don't mean like sent off. I mean like I thought he would have been subbed off because of his performance. And you know, even Simicast coming on and over and right back, or your young fella Ramsey if he was available, because you know it was always going to be a hard time for whatever right back comes up against Jeremy Doku, especially with the defensive qualities of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm in full agreement with you, Connor. He's a fabulous footballer and has some of the best passing range ever seen in football, but as a right back and defensive qualities, he's not there, and I think he would admit that himself. And you know, I seen Carragher saying that as well, so it baffled me that he gave him man of the match. But look, full credit to him. Man of the match really means nothing. It's a game of stats at the end of the day. If you look at the likes of Rashford, he got a goal there the other day, played absolutely awful, but was given like an 8 out of 10 by the Manchester Evening News. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is a strange. I mean, seems as though massive media outlets are really afraid to voice their actual opinions in case it goes against the footballing grain as such. But that's why people come to the bottom bins for lifelike coverage as such. But Connor, Erling Haaland, fastest player to reach 50 Premier League goals. I think he's beat Andy Cole's record by 14 games, 15 games maybe he's beat it by. On track in this particular I seen a graph the other day. It's like if he keeps scoring at the rate that he's scoring from he has joined the Premier League, he will have 100 goals by the end of his third season. Um, I mean, what? Look, we can't really give any more superlatives. We can't really give any more adjectives to describe Erling Haaland. But I mean that in itself, being the quickest to 50 goals in such a short amount of time, 46 or 47 games, it is absolutely mental stuff, isn't it?
Definitely. I thought in general he didn't have a great game, but he always finds himself on the score sheet. Like he nearly scored at the end as well with a header in the last minute. For like he just steps up for City in the big games. He can do nothing. For 80, 90 minutes, but he gets one chance and he finishes it. And I think he is one of the best strikers we've seen in the Premier League. And if he keeps going, as you said, he could have 100 Premier League goals by the end of next season, which is mental, mental stuff. Just a top player. Stepped up for City. I thought in general, City attacking wise, except for Doku, were poor. I thought Julian Alvarez was very, very poor, and he's been brilliant all season, but he was very poor. I thought Foden, went in and out of the game. Bernardo Silva was quiet. I thought Liverpool actually done a good job on that. It really was just they were just picking on Trent, and for Trent as just on the other point, like for Trent to get man of the match was ridiculous because it is, as Owen says, it's a joke. I think he got 8 or 9 out of 10 on Sky Sports. Ridiculous for a man that they were picking on, and it just there's so much luck in football too because he switches off for that goal, and if they finished that 2-0, he would have been absolutely destroyed in the media. But that's the way it goes. But on Haaland, just we said every week, we just say arguably the best striker in the world. Still, I think he's only 21, 22. He's just going to achieve such big things in football, and he's the best striker in the Premier League.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever in debate. To be honest, he's absolutely incredible, incredible. Uh, Obviously, or in these games, they do produce moments of magic, but they also do produce moments where tempers maybe flare, and a couple of big tackles in the game as well. And then once the final whistle goes, there's a bit of tension after the game as well between Darwin Núñez and Pep Guardiola, where Jurgen Klopp actually has to hold his player back and gives him quite a stern telling off to be honest. Now the thing I find funny about this is I could understand it if it's a player like Mo Salah or Virgil van Dijk, somebody with the credentials to back up their any sort of argument they're having with arguably the greatest manager in football. But it's coming from Darwin Núñez, who can't hit a barn door, let alone score a goal. What did you make of that situation? I mean, I actually thought it was quite classy from Klopp to kind of be like, what do you do?
I didn't really understand what it was about. Like, but Pep Guardiola has obviously said something, and Darwizzi's took it real thick, and he's replied in Spanish or something, or whatever both their languages there. And Pep Guardiola is obviously visually upset by it, but Darwizzi's just giving it the biggin for no reason. And Big Jorgen comes over, and he's but it doesn't necessarily look like he's calming Núñez down. It's rather he's just taking him away from the situation, which is probably the best thing to do there. But didn't understand it. Even though yes, we've said it's probably the biggest game in the Premier League every year for the last few years. Even last year when Liverpool weren't great. Liverpool and City is a huge, huge game that a lot of fans and neutral football fans get very excited for, but it never necessarily lives up to the expectation that everybody holds it to. Don't get me wrong, there's been a few fantastic moments in Liverpool and Man City, like that John Stones moment, which won City the league eventually. But like it wasn't necessarily the spiciest Man City and Liverpool game I've ever seen, so I don't really know where Darwizzy was getting all this hatred from and animosity from. So it baffled me, to be honest, and it confused me more than anything.
Yeah, well, I'd say if Guardiola had turned around and called him shit or something, he was well justified to do so. Just to be completely honest, because he is pants, pants, and I'm glad to see all the compilations are coming back on Twitter of all his misses this season, and I'm absolutely here for it. So if anybody would like to tag me in them, I'm more than happy to watch them every single night because he is pants. Connor, a lot has been made of Liverpool's, midfield rejuvenation, is I think the term that the media is using at the minute. But like, what I would say is, I don't think Gravenberch's been great in a Liverpool shirt. I don't think McAllister's been great in a Liverpool shirt. I think Endo's been steady enough when he's been asked to do a job. Um, and really, what I can see is, I mean, this is why I'm saying it's such a great result for Liverpool, because they're playing in games without a recognised six. I think Szoboszlai's been excellent for them. I didn't think he had his best game now against Man City, but I think so far his Liverpool career has been absolutely excellent. I think he's definitely been one of their better players this year. But it does appear as though they are definitely going to have to go back into the market for a midfielder.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the midfield the other day wasn't great. Szoboszlai obviously has been very good this season. I think McAllister has been disappointing. I think especially against City he was very poor. As you said, they've no recognised six. They're playing Curtis Jones in midfield. It's I don't know how they're doing it, to be honest. You have to give Klopp credit, because I know they have spent a bit of money in midfield, but they're really doing it on scraps. They've lost Fabinho, Thiago's injured. Um, Keita left. They're missing a lot of midfielders that they had when Aldum left. They're missing a lot of midfielders that, done very well for them. And they're replacing them with, like, Curtis Jones isn't a bad player, but he's not really a midfielder. That's why I'm surprised Trent doesn't go into midfield, because I've seen he's playing there for England. But, like, I think a lot of credit has to go to Klopp, because it just shows how he's a high caliber manager, top manager. To go to Man City and get a draw with that midfield, you just got to give him credit. And I actually think they underperformed, but even with that, they get a draw. So, fair play. And I think they definitely need a six. They need a six, and we said that at the start of the year. And if they could get one in January, which could be tough to do, that could make them proper title contenders, because they're very good at home. It's their away form that's the struggle, because at home they just dominate the game. Away from home they struggle a bit more. But if they could go and get a number six, even a half decent one, they could be proper title contenders.
Yeah, yeah, no, I do. I agree, lad. I agree. I think because they're playing without a recognised six, I wouldn't have them down as one of the top two teams in England. I still think City and Arsenal are definitely a cut above them at the minute. But I think if they were to manage to go out and get a decent six, I think you would have to put them right back in that conversation, because they have forwards there that are going to score plenty of goals. Their defense isn't as leaky as what it was last year. I still think there's problems there, but I do think it is marginally better this year. I think midfield just is the problem area at the minute for them, and kind of has been for the last few years. So I do think if they got themselves a six, yeah, then I would definitely stick them in that conversation. Well, look, folks, that's going to do it for this episode on Man City and Liverpool. Please give us a follow on Facebook. It is the Bottom Bins Podcast. We're at Bottom Bins Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as well, please check out our previous episodes from the last couple of weeks. And if you haven't already, check out our 1 year anniversary special. If you're somebody who's interested in podcasting, or who thinks that maybe want to give it a go at it themselves, maybe you've seen us do this a couple of times and you think, I like what those guys do, I would like to maybe give it a go myself, then head over and listen to our 1 year anniversary special. It'll maybe give you a bit of an insight into the world of content creation, and how we manage to do it on a weekly basis. Thank you for listening, and as always, keep it bottom bins.
Keep it bottom bins.
Bottom bins.